against control. I don't know if you know the story about that or not. I mean, I'm not going to really get into it, but I mean, as high a position as Eric had, he still didn't have the last word.
Right.
And that's just totally crazy.
I know some of the bigger egos had pretty much 100% control over their character, and that.
Yeah. There's one ego that had the control, and pretty much everybody thinks it was Eric and the mistakes that this company made. Well, I mean, there's a few other things that happen there too.
All right, I got three storylines. I'll if you're allowed to reveal whose bright idea it was. The finger poke of death.
You mean with Hogan
and Nash? Yeah.
Nash.
Yeah.
Who came up with that?
Yeah, whose bright idea was that?
I think it was Kevin's. I'm not sure.
Putting the world championship around the waist of Arquette.
Whoever it was should have had just been ran out of the business. I have no idea, but I'll tell you. I mean, rumor DDP has a little bit to do with that. Crazily.
I mean, I know they wanted to promote the movie and all, but I mean that was insanity.
That was ridiculous. That was absolutely insane.
And the last one I wanted to ask you about was oh my god, I just totally went. For Tony Schiavone to tell everybody that Mick Foley was about to win the WWF World Championship.
I don't know. I wasn't. I have no idea.
Because some would say that pretty much ended the ratings war. Because after that, a lot of people just didn't come back to WCW television again, and then you guys started to lose that ratings battle, and it was kind of a mudslide from there.
Yeah, I might have been over on the other side when that happened, over in Japan.
Now,
but I think it was Kevin, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was his idea.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I just saw that on my Facebook the other day, and I said, "What a stupid!" No, then people were just seasoned for some action and all.
Yep.
And I just went, "Oh my God, what that was!"
I just remember the garbage flying into the ring, and some guy tried to get in the ring, and Scott Hall kneed him in the face.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Got to get a shot in there if you can get it. But and again, no. There's with everything that was the negative about side of the NWO. I'm telling you something. I watched an interview today, and it was from one of the guys in the Bullet Club, and they were talking about what happened in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
About it wasn't New Japan shirts they're wearing, it wasn't this shirts they're wearing. It was 85% of the crowd was Bullet Club, and the Bullet Club's doing unbelievable.
Right.
But I don't, they're comparing it to the NWO when the NWO sold out every freaking arena they stepped into in this country, and then they went to Japan with it.
Right.
And when we went to Japan, it was the same thing. And I'm not saying Bullet Club made something else, and they are. They're amazing. They're great. Omega, them guys are amazing. But I don't think they can bring New Japan here and sell out every arena in this country.
Probably not.
I mean, LA was huge. I'm just trying to explain how big the NWO. When we got there, the first when I first started wrestling in Japan, you would be met at the airport by reporters. You'd do a press conference at the airport.
Okay.
And then that stopped for years, and all of a sudden we're getting off the plane. You know, it's the first time the NWO's rolling, and all of a sudden here's a press conference again, and the airport is full, black and white, NWO everywhere, and I'm going, I cannot believe this. This is amazing.
That must have been a great feeling.
You know, it's quite a drive to the hotel room or your hotel. Heel Platt, same thing. Next day, come out, lobby completely slammed with NWO people. Walk out the door to go hop on the touring bus. They put a $20,000 paint job NWO on it. I mean, it was unbelievable. Everywhere you went was NWO black and white in that country. And I'm just going, this thing is just so easy. It's unbelievable. And I mean, you know, the good was really good, and then the bad was
really
it's
bad.
Going to blow up. I mean, you know, because it was so successful.
Now,
you know,
who's who? I don't even care who did it, but what was your feel on the split when they went with the Wolf Pack and then the black and white, and there was like 1,000 NWO people?
Well, you see, the thing about it is, if they had just left it to Kevin and Scott, it'd have been great because they could have worked everybody.
Right.
It would have been, because those two guys, to me, Hogan too, but those two guys were the NWO. They were the cool dudes. They were freaking awesome for it. If
Right.
they had just been them two guys gone off and done their thing, but somebody had to, as soon as they see it start working, somebody had to come in behind with them and bring the third guy in there. I think you all know who I'm talking about.
Well, yeah,
And that screwed everything up.
saved his career though. I would say it saved his career. I remember a match he's
Who?
fighting Hogan.
Yeah, but I mean, Hogan could stand on his own and stay black and white, and those
Yeah.
guys just, you know, they could have, because we were heels, but they liked us so much. We're big baby faces anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had let Nash and Hall just, it was their idea, there was their split. They wanted, if they had just let that roll, they could have worked everybody in that black and white all the way around the circuit easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would have been awesome. But that couldn't happen because of egos.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's getting over more than this guy here. And he's got to go over there next week. You know, you see it. That's like Scotty Steiner. Steiner started just tearing the interviews up in the NWO, just killing them. He'd grab that rope with his left arm. He'd lay back on the rope. It was like he's water skiing. And, you know, the pipes are just ripped, and he's just killing it.
Half the stuff he would say, you don't even know what the hell he was talking about anyway.
Oh, yeah, you know, but I mean, the people are going crazy. Well, that pissed one guy off. You know, he couldn't get a mic. I mean, for weeks he didn't get the mic. I mean, it's stupid. You know, I mean, you know, and the NWO was big enough to just do a whole Nitro by itself.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it was, you know, I mean, I thought when it went to Japan and they were sending guys, you know, I said, we got enough dudes to do this, you know. But they just kept sending the same group of us to Japan, and it was working because, you know, we had the Japanese NWO members, and the load of them, Muda and Chono, and the group of guys over there was awesome, you know. I mean, when I talked marketing, they were doing, it was amazing, the marketing that sells that they were doing at these big shows, at the Dome shows and the Budokan, and I mean, they were just, I mean, you talk about knocking out a park.
Yeah.
But it's just too bad that, you know, and you know, it was how it fell off and ended. It was just beyond me. I just don't know how that screwed up. But how did it get screwed up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how much money was made, and then and when the push came to shove at the end, the excuses were just not making enough money, which I don't get. But you know, we interviewed Eric, and it was kind of out of his hands. It was all a network thing, and they didn't want wrestling anymore, and which I'm sure, like you said, you look back now, I'm sure they regret that decision. But how was the feel in the locker room though after you guys were now losing consistently in the ratings, and did you guys feel that the end was near?
Well, we knew it was, and it was pretty obvious, and it just, me, I had my deal in Japan. Everybody say to me all the time, Scott, how could you keep going to Japan? What's the matter with you, man? You're doing great here. Just stay here. I said, man, I'm never letting that go. And they said, man, this is going to roll on forever. I said, we don't know that. I said, you never know.
Yeah.
Because at one point in time, it was just off. I said, man, I'm keeping that deal. And then when the WCW went up, man, my phone was ringing out the hook. Hey, give me a job in New Japan. Give me a job in Japan. And I said, I just can't, I wish I could, but, I kept mine, and that kind of kept me, that I was okay with, I rode with it. Eric was a friend of mine. I did what was asked of me. I think that there were certain people that were, had the book that shouldn't have had the book. Mm-hmm. Looking back, you can always say this or that, but then again, when they had the book, and look what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can always try to cut somebody, say, hey, this is so and so's fault, or this is so and so's fault. But it got too big, too many guys. It was unmanageable. If Turner and his people didn't want wrestling no more, that's a shock to me, coming out of what they just did.
Right.
Because the money had to have been. In Japan, when the NWO went down, and they didn't do the marketing that they were once doing, these people in the office over there were about ready to commit Harry Carey. They just didn't know what happened. Why we're not doing these just huge mega numbers is beyond them. And when it died here, it died there. And we had to change it over to Team 2000. Business was great in Japan, but it was a significant step back as far as the NWO merchandise and whatnot. It was amazing what they did there themselves. Hell, I was there January 4th, and I seen there's so much NWO stuff still around. It's unbelievable. I leave this week. Friday, I'm doing a shot in Japan, and it'll be there again. It never dies over there, brother.
That's good. That's but at least you can say, I'm taking it by, what you're saying is that it was a positive, some negative, but overall it was a positive experience working that era with WCW.
Are you kidding? Yeah. It was unbelievable. The shows and the crowds of people, how frantic it got. It was just, they're doing that WWE with the right guys.
Mm-hmm.
But you got Orton, and you got these, Stone Cold, The Rock, when he was rolling super high. These guys, they did that. But this is every night. It was just crazy. To be involved in what went on with that crew there, and it was cool. It was a really cool time to be part of the wrestling here, and I'm glad I was part of it. I regret. If I'd have just stayed in Japan, I know Eric would have done me. I'd have had a better run here if I didn't go back to Japan so much. I would, and I split it up, and that kind of got me to a point where, I didn't like the way things were going at times, especially when I had the belt from IWGP Championship, and the way that not Eric handled it, but the way his booker handled it was damn near got me put in prison. I mean, I was ready